Welcome to One Shot. I am Allie J, and I have a special guest with me. Well, I guess he's not exactly a guest because um, he's actually going to be helping me out with some co hosting here in the near future. And so I wanted to introduce you all to this is my cousin, David.
Toms.
So he has agreed to come on as a special co-host. I don't know if we'll get to do it every single episode, but hopefully we've got a lot planned for 2024, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the next year. There's a lot of things happening this year, one of them being the election.
Correct?
So, what are your thoughts for 2024?
I believe it's going to be a great year. What would make it even better if you're a believer, follow Jesus even more this year than you have ever done before in your life.
Yes, that is very true. Very true. So thinking back on 2023, what is something that you think of in 2023 that has happened? That something that really stood out to you?
I guess one of the big things is when me and my wife we put our house up for sale and we're finally up in this area now.
Oh, yes. So you guys just moved back to the area. So technically you're married to my cousin. So I just call you my cousin, but
Yeah, that's fine.
he's married to my cousin Steph. And so we've been having a lot of discussions about different topics lately since they've been back in the area. And I asked him if he'd be interested in coming on the podcast. So,
And sure, that's fine.
and if you can hear any noise in the background, the cat, the cat that I had on one of my episodes before, is kind of playing with her bag of food and making a lot of noise over there. I don't know if it picks up on these microphones or not, but
Hopefully it doesn't.
yeah. So I just want to thank everyone who has watched my podcast, the start of One Shot. I know it's been a slow start. There's been a lot of things that have interrupted it, and I've only gotten a few put out over the last 6 months or so. And it's come a long way, but I'm looking forward to the new year. I have some exciting interviews that I'm excited to set up. I'll give you a hint on one of them. Might be with the same name as this guy here. Uh, it was one of them. And then also a connection to that interview might lead to, well, vice versa. A connection to that interview might lead to another interview. So, got a couple interviews lined up going to be lining up a few interviews, as well as I have a few friends who have agreed to come on the podcast. And I think they're going to have some good insight to give as well. And then we'll probably just have some discussions talking about current events and maybe some politics and other
Maybe.
things. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are.
Yeah, I am. Very much so.
That's good. So I guess one of the things that has happened in 2023, I almost said 2024. It's not even
No,
2024 yet.
it's not.
But one of the things I guess that I can say has happened to me in 2023 is that I really feel I've grown in certain areas as far as God has used certain things in my life. If you watched the first episode of this podcast, um, things are my life has changed a lot since that first podcast. And if you haven't got a chance to watch it, I would encourage you to go back and watch it. And God has really used a lot of the events that have happened in my life to help me grow in certain areas, whether it's, um, just little things like trying to use more wisdom in making decisions, and whether it's talking to people, being a little more intentional with people and sharing with people, whether it's sharing my story or sharing about Jesus or sharing whatever it may be. He's really used these events to help me to grow in those areas. So That's one thing that I've really noticed from this past year. So, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just that I hope everybody within a few hours as we enter the new year that, yeah, have a very, very happy new year and keep looking to our Savior
Mm-hmm.
and follow Him.
Yes, that is a great word of encouragement. And I know I haven't got a podcast put out for a couple weeks here, but I just wanted to come live. Oh, and that's another thing that I'm hoping to do more of coming up in the next year is to be able to go live more often. Um, and because I was encouraged that, going live, it's a little more personal and just, hopefully people will be encouraged by whatever we have to share and just maybe just sit down and talk about whatever it may be,
Anything that's going on.
Yeah, I know. And there have been times that if a new movie comes out or if I don't know, I know the next season I haven't actually watched the whole series of The Chosen. I know some people are like, oh, no. Then the show The Chosen, I really do want to sit down and watch that. That's another goal of my for 2024 is to watch The Chosen series. And so I'm hoping to watch that, and then maybe we can talk about some different things. Like, I don't know how much you're into movies and stuff like that, or
Some of them I am, but yeah, The Chosen would be great to talk about
yeah,
when season 4 does finally
yes,
come out.
mm-hmm, yeah. So I got some catching up to do on that show, but it's kind of helped that all the TV shows got pushed back because of that writer strike, and then the SAG after strike or the SAG strike after whatever they call it anymore. I don't know. They went on strike at the same time as the writers, but the people in The Chosen were allowed to continue filming because they already had everything lined up, but the actors were allowed to continue filming. They made an exception. I don't remember all the details of how it all worked out, but um I thought that was really neat how they were able to continue filming even though that whole
Everybody else was on strike.
yeah. Yeah. So for those of you who are the chosen fans out there, maybe we'll have a discussion on that. And like I've been saying the last couple episodes, if you have something that you would like to hear discussed, or maybe you would like to join in on conversation, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can find our Facebook page, One Shot Podcast, on Facebook, and you can send me a message, or whatever it may be. Feel free to do that. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends. I'm looking forward to a great 2024, and I hope you are as well. And like David said, I hope you have a blessed new year and just continue to look to the Lord for this new year, because there's a lot of things happening in this world right now, and there's a lot of things that could get us down, put it that way.
Yeah.
And like I was talking to somebody at church today, you got to you can look at all the negative things that are happening in the world right now, and you could be so down, you could be so depressed, maybe you're going through some of these things. I just want to encourage you. It's okay to look at the things that are happening in the world, but try not to allow them to dictate your life, and to be focus on the things that are the blessings in your life, because there are a lot of blessings even in the hard times, right?
Yes.
So
There's more blessings that we all have had throughout this year and coming up to the new year than there are disappointments.
exactly. Yeah, I've said it a couple times over that, like, I could focus on all the negative things that have happened in my life, all my hospitalizations, all the times I've gotten sick or had infections or whatever it may be. But, I choose to look at the things that God has blessed me with being able to do, whether it's bowling, like you saw on my bowling podcast, if you saw that one, or taking a trip out to my sister's to visit her in Indiana, or, just kind of recapping all the different things that we talked about here on One Shot. There are so many blessings that we don't even realize are blessings. And when you look back on it, you're like, oh yeah, that was pretty good.
Wow. That happened. That was good.
Yeah. And
So look more to the positive
exactly.
this year.
Yep. And I mean, some people have asked me, like, I've had people ask me over the years, like, how are you able to just continue smiling? Like you're always smiling at the thing, even after going through something like a hospitalization. Those are hard to go through in the moment. And sometimes I don't like to even think about it from when it happened. But then I look back on it after the fact and I think, God used that to make me stronger in certain areas, even if I didn't realize it at the time.
Okay. Yes.
So it's like, whether it's stronger health wise or stronger mentally speaking or spiritually speaking, he can take all those bad things that have happened and use them. And that's something we can think about as a blessing and as well. So,
Yes.
well, I think we've taken up enough of your time for today. We've just been kind of recapping the year. And be on the lookout for more podcasts to come. And hopefully David will be here with me, joining me on some, if not all of them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to happen in 2024. I like to look at the new things that are coming up, and I like to,
Because it's going to be more exciting
yeah,
because we're not there yet.
exactly. I'm not one that focuses on the future and worried about it, but when something is coming up, I like to think about, like, ooh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. You get more excited.
So there's all the doom and gloom stuff out there nowadays, but you can either choose to focus on that or you can choose to focus on the blessings that are there. So, all right. Well, again, I'm Mallie J.
And I'm David Toms.
And we want to thank you so much for joining us for this episode of One Shot Podcast. And we hope that you have a blessed new year. And just remember that the Lord is there and he wants to be in relationship with you. And if you allow him to, he wants to be your guide in this new year. So, anything else you'd like to share?
Nope.
Well, I just want to say, may the Lord bless you, may keep you, may his face shine upon you and give you peace. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you next year.
Yep. Have a happy new year.
I almost said Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas. Oh, yes. That's another thing I forgot to mention. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas as well. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. All those other holidays out there. And we'll see you next time right here on One Shot Podcast.